Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Megan Campbell. I'm the Marketing and Communications Director here at the Greenville Chamber. And if you are a Community Matters regular, you know that we host these webinars every week to connect you with local, state, and even national leaders. And you can find past recordings as well as the upcoming schedule at greenvillechamber.org. Now, a couple of housekeeping notes before we get started. All attendees should be hidden and muted, but you can submit questions through the chat feature at the bottom. And in fact, we encourage it. We're here this morning to talk about the Greater Greenville Pledge and Greenville's responsible reopening, but we don't want this to be just Greater Greenville Pledge sales pitch. While we are excited about it, we want it to be a discussion. So you can do that through the chat feature at the bottom. And I'm really excited to be here this morning with Beth Brotherton, the Director of Communications and Neighborhood Relations for the City of Greenville. Hey, Beth.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. And then we also have Beth and Greg McPhee, co-owners of the Anchorage. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Thank you all for joining us this morning. Now, real quickly, before we get started, I just want to make note that we understand that there's so much more than just the pledge going on in our community and in our nation. And both the Chamber and the City released statements yesterday, and I know you can find the Chamber statement on our homepage at greenvillechamber.org. But I just want to say that both the City and the Chamber are looking forward to working together and with many other community partners to implement some real and lasting change. Beth, do you want to add anything to that?
I do, certainly. The mayor made an appearance at the rally at the Peace Center on Saturday and said, this is our city, and then spoke specifically to young African-American men in the crowd. And he said, raise your hand, and, this is your city as well. We were incredibly proud of police chief, our interim police chief, who stood with his men on the front lines and had conversations as opposed to conflict with people there. And I think that's what needs to continue to happen is, I said in some interviews yesterday that, we would certainly hope that this is not a starting point, because we hope that some of these relationships have already been built. But if nothing else comes out of this tragic and horrible situation in Minnesota, it's that we continue across the country to do a lot of introspection and recognize that there is still so much more work to be done. Our mayor recognizes that, our city manager recognizes that, and our police department recognize that. And so the mayor already met yesterday morning with the leaders of the Saturday evening protest to talk about some of their concerns that ranged from everything to policing to affordable housing. So, this is not just an equality issue, it's an equity issue, and it's something that is not going to stop after this weekend. It's a continuing conversation, and it's also part of Greenville's recovery, because we recover as one. We don't recover in a vacuum.
That's right. And our organizations will certainly continue to lead that conversation. So I want to just go ahead and kind of jump right in. So the Chamber, the City, the County, and GADC several weeks ago, about a month ago, I guess, formed the Greater Greenville Pledge. So Beth, let's start with you. Do you want to give us a really quick overview of what it is and how it was formed?
Absolutely. So the four groups that you mentioned joined together, the leadership of each of those organizations joined together for a business recovery task force with the idea, again, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, that this does not happen with one entity alone, that we needed some joint forces to get together, have a lot of conversations about what to do. And so the Chamber did this excellent survey just prior to us joining together as a group that came back with the 4 C's, which was cash, customers, confidence, and communications. And really, as the communications subgroup that broke off from that business recovery task force, we really looked at what does that communication need to look like, and what can we do to build confidence, and really decided that the confidence was not just about shoppers returning. It was about business owners having the confidence to reopen. It was about their employees having the confidence to go back to work and feel safe. And so what could we do as a group to increase the confidence and therefore increase the customers and increase the cash flow. And it was kind of decided, well, could we create some sort of like good housekeeping seal of approval, something that could be displayed in a window or displayed at a cash register? I know many of us are still shopping differently. I've said several times, I will drive past a store, and if the parking lot looks too full, or if I walk past someplace and it looks too crowded, I'm going to keep going. And so this visual symbol of, I am a business that is dedicated to reopening responsibly. I've taken the practical steps as advised by the CDC and DHEC of social distancing practices instituted in the store, limiting capacity, testing my employees' health, wearing face masks, and obviously the most important, which is dedication to frequent cleaning. So we're like, what can we do to help businesses show that they are following these important steps? And that is where this idea of the Greater Greenville Pledge grew out of, is this concept that what can we do as marketing professionals and communications professionals to give business a symbol in the window that says, we are committed to reopening responsibly.
Perfect, thank you. Now, if you can walk us through, what does that process look like for a business to engage and to take that pledge? And do you want me to pull up the site while you walk us through that?
Awesome. So step one for us was creating a website. A place where people could, first of all, learn about some of those guidelines, because we understood that if you are a business that is a larger business or is part of a corporation, or you are a franchisee, that you are likely going to get information, maybe even some strict guidance from your parent company about how to reopen. And that the folks that would be at a greater disadvantage would be the independently owned, minority owned, bilingual or non-English speaking businesses, that they would be the ones who would most need access to information. So we created a Greater Greenville Pledge and La Promenade Greenville. They are one site, 2 languages. That was a big note from the task force and from those of us involved in creating the pledge, is that this needed to be something that was highly accessible to our Spanish-speaking business owners and our Spanish-speaking customers. So they are interchangeable. The Greater Greenville Pledge and La Promenade Greenville, both hashtagged and both available in English and Spanish. But if you scroll down just a tiny bit, Megan, there is a button that says "Take the Pledge." And it is that simple. You click on that link, it takes you to a web form. You fill out your business name, address, indicate, yes, we are committed to following these steps responsibly. And then once you do that, you get, hit the submit button there at the bottom. You get in return, kind of your return email is a confirmation that includes a printable 8x10 poster that you can display, includes a social media graphic that you can use, and also includes a badge that you can put on your website. And then right above that, Megan, I think is the mapping feature, which is one of the incentives of this, which is we have 237 businesses that have taken the pledge. They are listed alphabetically. They're along the right, but they're also mapped. And so this was a tool that we first used when businesses within the city of Greenville, as we closed things down to dine in and shop in, and businesses started offering carryout for the first time, or delivery, or special COVID related deals. We created a community resource page where people could connect with businesses, and that feature worked so well, we thought, let's do this again. Let's use the mapping technology we have to get these businesses a way to be recognized. So somebody could go to the Greater Greenville Pledge website and say, hey, I'm looking for an air conditioning company that has taken the pledge, or I'm looking to shop at a boutique that's taken the pledge, and they can scroll through the list and see what's close to home. And so that was another big key for us, was to not only have the guidelines on the site, but also, the map, so people could see who had taken the pledge. And, there's also trying to promote the the hashtag. There is a rolling social media feed along the front page. So anytime somebody uses, there we go, we're back, any kind of graphic and post to their page with either the Greater GVL Pledge hashtag or the La Promenade Greenville hashtag, their posts will appear on the front page of the Pledge's website. So that's another way for folks to generate business for themselves. There you see Mayor White and Senator Ross Turner. The mayor was in Columbia last week to present to a Senate committee on the Greater Greenville Pledge, and we are happy to see that shortly after that, the city of Columbia adopted their own Responsible Columbia Pledge. And so this is something that is certainly taken off as a popular idea, and we're glad to help promote our businesses and provide them with information.
Let's real quickly talk about that word greater being in there to reinforce that this is not just the city, but it's a county-wide initiative, and we're looking for businesses to participate from throughout the county.
Absolutely. The word greater was intentional. Intentional is a very popular word that we use these days. The idea being that this is about much more than just the city of Greenville. This is not something that we wanted folks to just go shop downtown Greenville and see this. I've had excellent phone conversations with the folks in Travelers Rest about their eagerness to go through their main street. We've had great conversations with the folks in Simpsonville about moving this to their main street, and surrounding businesses also out in the county. So, no, this is not just about Greenville. In fact, we're reaching out right now to mayors of all the surrounding cities, and you may have seen the video on the front page that featured some business owners who were getting ready to reopen a month or so ago. Our next video, we hope, will feature mayors of all of our municipalities nearby, with the idea that Simpsonville is taking the Greater Greenville Pledge to reopen responsibly. Travelers Rest is taking the Greater Greenville Pledge to reopen responsibly. And so this is a broader community effort to know that there's a single standard and a single high standard as well.
Right, that's right. I want to pivot for a second and talk to Beth and Greg real quickly. What has that reopening looked like for you guys? What's it looked like from your perspective?
You take this.
Sure. Yeah, well, we're a small restaurant in West Greenville, and so there have been a lot of challenges with occupancy and operation hours, and just trying to carve out exactly how it is that we can operate as safely, and then also as, I guess, at the scale that we're looking for. I got to say, overall, though, it's been a very favorable sort of reopening. People have been great. The employees have been great. But I think that the biggest thing for us has been just keeping an open dialogue, both with our customers and our employees, to make sure that everybody's on the same page, and setting the expectation so that when they come in, they understand exactly what's being laid out and exactly how the dining experience can be enjoyed. And it might be a little bit different than before, but everything is laid in place to mitigate any risks that we might be contributing.
Awesome. I've heard it said quite often in the past couple of weeks that you really have to over communicate right now with your employees and your customers. So what sort of things are you guys doing? Are your employees wearing masks, or have y'all implemented any changes other than social distancing?
Yeah, all of our employees wear masks, including in the kitchen. And actually, we've got some new face visors from a company in Columbia, South Carolina. They're coming in tomorrow. So we'll have plexi. It's kind of like a face mask that's, instead of coming down, it comes up so that you can see people's expressions, and it actually kind of functions a little bit better in the heat. So we've just been constantly auditing that process to make sure that we're in compliance, but then also making sure that again, it's all about comfort, whether it's for the employee or the guest, to make sure that everything's known. So posting the right signage, wearing gloves for ready-to-eat foods, just kind of taking a look at everything that we do in cooperation with DHEC through the state from a food service perspective, and then going back and re-auditing it and taking into account through each step exactly what could possibly be a risk and how that risk and that reaction is going to be perceived by our customers and our employees.
Got it. Real quickly, can you walk us through what prompted you to take the pledge?
Well, I mean, we very much try to make sure that we are members of the community, including the chamber, and doing everything possible. So there wasn't even really a question when we got the email about it, because all of these things that you guys had laid out, we were already working on and reading the DHEC website and doing all the research necessary. So if it means us just going one extra step further to vocalize to people that we are putting all of these things in place, then we were happy to do it.
That's great. That's great. Real quickly, and this is for anyone who wants to take it, really, we talk a lot about the responsibility of the business owner to provide a safe experience for employees and customers, but some of that burden falls on the customer's shoulders. So can we talk about how important that is and what you guys are seeing out in the community?
Sure. Yeah. Like we said, most people have been great. We've had a couple incidences where there have been people that kind of come in and, might want to express a viewpoint or sort of cause a little bit of a scene. Nothing to really the detriment of the dining experience of others, just maybe sort of a joke out of in bad taste. But I think that, my background's in hotels originally, and I think that there's something that always kind of passed through with that, which is setting the expectation. Is if we lay out all of the things that we expect from our diners, our employees, and what they can expect from us, and it kind of makes that a flow chart of exactly how it's going to go when you come into the restaurant. And that's also using signage and having clear entry and exits, and having the employees not only know that these are the rules, but know why the rules are in place so that they can intelligently communicate that if somebody does have a question. That's the biggest thing, is we're avoiding conflict by educating, our consumers, educating ourselves, and educating our staff. And through the whole process, right or wrong, if you just sensibly tell somebody this is why we're doing this, and you might not agree that it's a necessary step, but it's not going to hurt anybody. It's just something that we feel comfortable as being the protocol that we need to put in place. I think that 99.9% of your customers are going to come back and are going to respect that and are going to appreciate it. And that's most of the feedback that we've gotten has not been about the food or the service, but has been about the fact that you can come back in safely and that they felt as if they didn't have to worry about a thing, which is what people want to do. They want to go out and they want to eat. They don't want to have to sit and cook at home for themselves again because they've been stuck for so long. So it's great to know that people can come out and feel like they're getting that level of service and are able to support the local economy as well.
You really can't underestimate how important that is. Beth B., do you want to add anything to that?
No, I would just say as both, somebody who city sees a lot of the emails that come in from customers that come to the mayor, that come to city leaders. We continue to get feedback from people who have concerns when they don't see, restaurants, particularly restaurant employees who are wearing masks, folks who would have contact with food and that sort of thing. So, again, unfortunately, I think at some point it became political for, masks to be, a statement one way or the other. We've also heard that to some extent a mask is a reminder that things aren't normal. And that some people are uncomfortable wearing it. But again, if I'm in my car, I've started, taking up this idea of, picking up my groceries. And, even if I'm sitting in my car and the employees come up to have me sign something, I'll put on my mask because I want to respect the fact that they're doing a service for me. So it's about mutual respect, I think, more than anything else. And as customers, how can we be respectful to the people who are providing a service to us, whether it's delivering our groceries, whether it's, serving us a meal, because we have been stuck at home. And we do have a responsibility as a community to help the businesses that have reopened and are providing for us.
Great. They're kind of a necessary evil because they can be uncomfortable and fog my glasses up, but it's that mutual respect, like you said. While we're on you, do you want to talk about what's on the horizon for this pledge?
Absolutely. So you start with the website, you start with the poster, you start with the basics, and you build. And so recognizing that there was interest in this and that this is something that could grow, the last thing you want to do is take a great idea and just let it, squander it, or just let it sit and go dormant. And so, our hope is to expand this. We have brought on 2 temporary special assignment employees who, starting this week, are going to be working as Greater Greenville Pledge employees. They are event planners in town who currently don't have events to plan, and so they're going to help us with outreach. I'm excited to say that our first order of 500 window clings, our quote good housekeeping seals of approval, came in yesterday. And so our goal from here on out is to first start calling those businesses that have already taken the pledge and ask them, hey, what do you need from us? Have you done social media? Please take a picture of one of your employees either cleaning or wearing a mask or standing next to a social distance sign. Take a picture of you as a business owner. Take a selfie with you holding the Greater Greenville Pledge sign and put it on Instagram and Twitter, and make sure you hashtag it either La Promenade Greenville or hashtag Greater GVL Pledge. Because again, getting that moving, allowing customers to know who you are, just doing those phone calls as we start the early phase of reopening. Then the next move is broadening that outreach to literally going door to door, walking down main streets and whether not just Greenville's main street, but other main streets, and talking to businesses that may not have heard about it, but also, having some small events, if you will, either drive-by pickup or walk-up pickup events where, we might have, some live music and Greater Greenville Pledge banners, but it would be an opportunity for business owners that have taken the pledge to come and pick up a window decal. Or if you're a business owner that hasn't taken the pledge, we'll be out there, with iPads and the ability to sign up on site and get your decal in the moment. So look for that in the next coming weeks for a Greater Greenville Pledge kind of pop-up event to come to your community and be an opportunity for you to get that window decal and put that seal on your business window or door.
That's great. We're not finished yet. So
No.
really quickly, just want to throw out a reminder, if you do have questions or comments, you can submit those through the chat feature. But I want to take a quick second just to recognize the other people in the communications task force. Sam Patrick with GADC, Bob Mahalik with the county, and then Carlos Phillips with the chamber, as well as Beth and I. Ramon, Unicom, is that Ramon's company?
Yeah.
Did I cover it all in addition to the 2 new teams?
Yeah, and Emily Hegarty from the city's economic development sector as well, just with all of her great business contacts, has just been wonderful at informing Greenville businesses. But yeah, having Sam and Bob and Ramon also on the team to make sure that we're reaching out to, so many different sectors of business, and understanding that the county really has a lot more industrial, manufacturing, larger businesses, whereas in the city, we're much more isolated to, smaller shop owners and restaurants and that sort of thing, and office space.
Let's talk about that real quick, though. You just touched on an important point. This isn't just for retail or restaurants, but all businesses are encouraged to take the pledge, right?
Absolutely. We all know that work life in general may continue to look different for a while. City Hall hasn't yet reopened, so I'm still at my house most days. And when we do, our human resources department is trying to look like what is that return to work going to look less in an office space where there are some cubicles, where there are some offices with doors that close. So we're talking about manufacturing floors in our community where people touch equipment, share equipment. We're talking about office buildings where in some places people may be in closer quarters than others, and so what your back to work looks like is going to be different. And so this is not just for restaurants. It's not just for, small shop owners. This is for, larger companies that are making a commitment to their employees that we're going to take care of you. We're going to monitor your health. It's safe for you to come back to work. We are going to continue to clean to make sure we can stay open. And, office space is the same way. It may be staggered shifts for a while. It may be, a lot more telecommuting continuing for a while until we get to a spot where, either there's a vaccine or a clear drop in cases in our community.
Got it. Yeah, here at the Chamber, we just returned this week, but it's that staggered return with the understanding also that many parents are without childcare right now and need to continue to work from home. So they're being very flexible.
Which
Awesome.
Again, as we look to see what the school district, chooses to do in the fall, I think that's going to be important for all employers to recognize that we don't know what the new normal will look like yet. Right now, we've got, summer break essentially beginning yesterday or today. But yeah, childcare is going to be an issue for working parents as long as, school is out or school is different. At the city of Greenville, unfortunately, we had to make the decision that we weren't going to do summer camps this year. Just the decisions about the reopenings occurred too late for us to get staff and that sort of thing in place. So even some of the camps that parents rely on in the summer for childcare and opportunities for them to work are not available. And so that flexibility continues to be key for businesses to help their employees.
That's great. I'll go ahead and throw out a plug for Community Matters coming up in 2 weeks. So not next Tuesday, but the next. We'll have a discussion on childcare with Derek Lewis, as well as 2 representatives from the YMCA. So just to talk about everything going on in our community. But great. Well, thank you all for joining us. It looks like we'll be able to finish right on time. Beth and Greg, any parting words from you guys?
Thanks for including us. Thanks for the support. I know that we speak for a lot of restaurant owners that are very, very happy to be located in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you guys and all that you do in the community. Beth B., any parting words?
Just again, if you have not taken the pledge, it's so easy. Go to greatergreenvillepledge.com or lapromesadegreenville.com and hit the take the pledge button. And again, if you see us set up in a tent near you, stop by and grab a window decal. If you take the pledge, print out that poster, take a picture, take a selfie, and hashtag it with Greater GVL Greenville. So, hey. So yes, please continue to keep that active on social media, because we want to see the people that are taking the pledge and we want to hear from them. And social media really is the best way to do that.
Great. Thank you for that reminder. Thank you all for joining us this morning. I do want to mention that we'll send a survey as well as a recording later this afternoon to all attendees. So please do take that survey and let us know what you want to hear about. If you did have any questions or comments or ways we can improve, feel free to email those to us afterwards as well. And then next week for Community Matters, we'll be joined by Jeff Korzenik. Some of you may have heard from him before. He'll give us an economic update. So we're really looking forward to that. But thank you all for joining us.
Thanks, Megan.
Bye.